Once upon a time, in a magic kingdom, born straight from a book. Not just a book, no. This book is special. It's more than just a book. This is the Sprookjesboek. And the Sprookjesboek isn't there just for show. It tells a story of a kingdom far, far away. A kingdom where dreams become reality and fairy tales come alive. And landscapes unlike anything you have ever seen before. Welcome to the new chapter in Bughy Wughy Wonderland. With a new part in Bughy Wughy Wonderland. What? A new section in Bughy Wughy Wonderland. Before I start building, I want to show you guys where we are and what we're going to do. Here is the entrance to the park, and the guests walk this way. Then on the left side here, you've got the gardens of Bughuul, of course. But on the right side, you have the clock's quarters, and you've got the little coffee right there. Now if you move up, we curve around slightly to the right, and then there we're gonna have the entrance to the new area, which we will be building today. I'm so excited, let's jump into it. So here we are, back in the park, and we're continuing where we left off with the pathing at the top of the main entrance square. As I just explained, just behind us is the main square. You won't be able to see it very well now, but you can see the exit of the coffee ride on the right side. And I'm just using various pathing tools to make this all come together and extend the pathing. Here you can see the square a little bit. So I'm just decorating the exit here really. Chucking down various objects. And you can see on the right side the on and off button of the coffee machine. It's something that not a lot of people know that I built, but yeah, it is there. I also built a little exit sign here. It's just some poles and a sign hanging saying that it's the exit of the coffee ride. I'm just expanding the rock wall a little bit to the sides so that it separates the terrain from the pathing and keeps the guests safe from landslides. And I'm using the ginormous stamp tool to make this corner. And it just keeps changing the terrain level for some reason. I don't know, I still feel like I'm getting used to this pathing patterns. And the different ways of making pathing in Planet Coaster 2 is just can be quite complicated. I'm also using the drawing tool to finish the last little sections of pathing. Then I'm using the deleting tool to delete some of the pathing underneath these pillars. And then I'm just filling it back in with the stamp tool. And this way there won't be any guest collision with the poles that you see here. And with that said, oh my god, Book! Where's the snap belt? Alright, here's the snap belt of this section. Now I had a really cool idea of how to make a natural water crossing. Because I wanted to have some point through the part where you can change from the pathing that we have up there to a more natural pathing, because I wanted this section to be really nature focused, and yeah, so a water crossing was gonna be ideal. And with the new see-through invisible pathing that we had a couple of updates ago, I had a really cool idea of making a pathing, like a pathway across the water from one side to the other side. So here you see me just terraforming some of the banks of the water of the river, and then you've got an opening there on the right, and that's where the pathing will come down, meet with the water, and then come across. And obviously we'll use a lot of terrain paint and all that sort of stuff, as you can see here. I'm using some moss, I'm using some rock for on the side, just to have the terrain blend in, and it really accentuates the edges of the water. and makes it look a lot prettier. I think terrain paint is one of the most underused items in this game, and it really can create some beautiful landscapes if you do use it. So definitely consider terrain paint when you start working with terrain, of course. Here I've quickly built a bridge across the water. Well, I removed the water, but the water is gonna be under the bridge. Just so I can connect the terrain and the pathing in a nice way, so it doesn't look square. And you know, I can use the terrain tool, as you can see here. I'm outlining the terrain of the banks and then just connecting it back to the pathing. So with the bridge still in place, I connect the pathing, and then here is a snap build of the section of what we just made here with the river. Now we remove the bridge and start working on the natural water crossover. And the first thing I needed to do is bring some pathing down to the waterfront, or like to the banks, and have it on the same level as the water level that was there. And it's constantly removing water, adding water, changing terrain, adding pathing, removing water, adding water. It's just frustrating because I can't do anything with the water there. I have to remove it and then build, otherwise the terrain doesn't change, which means I can't place my pathing down. Very frustrating, but I ended up aligning them perfectly. Now I'm using lots of rocks to blend the terrain or blend the water and the pathing crossover together as good as possible. And I wanted to use these natural stones that you can see here. But I first needed to create a sort of stone bridge on the water so I can build on top of that. So when the guests kind of like misstep on these stones, that they don't fall to the bottom of the river. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here first. Now I tried various ways of crossovers. I used these temple blocks to first see if I liked what this looked like. So I just placing down a couple of blocks and, you know, checking the aesthetics of it, but I wasn't quite happy with it, so I decided to go and look and see what planks do. I also wasn't happy with that, so I stuck with the normal rocks, the natural looking pathing. Yeah. So it really is placing down these rocks and bringing them straight to a level where the water is just barely crossing over the stones. It's gonna be a bit of a problem because when it starts raining, obviously the river will fill up and you won't be able to cross. So I guess you have to look at tides first before you cross. When the tide's out, you can cross, and the tide comes in, you make sure that you're on the side where you want to be at. So after that, I sploosh-kaboost some fencing down, and it's really easy, just some wooden poles, very natural, very normal, very Book. And obviously, how can a crossing be natural and normal if there's no nature or normality? What? That makes no sense. Oh my god, Book! Show the snap belt already! Alright, here's the snap belt. Well, that turned out really well.
It's very nice.
Oh, what a release. Oh my goodness. I'm bringing the pathing around the corner, and then I'm gonna build it up a little bit because I want to make a bridge across the water to the little island that you can see there. So just placing down pathing and then bringing it up a little bit with some terrain. And then I make the crossing with the pathing. And after that, I do some terraforming and blending the terrain and the edges, the outsides of the river together so it looks nice and cohesive and natural. Once that's done, I remove the original pathing and replace it with invisible see-through pathing, which looks like this. Pretty cool. I really wanted to create a natural wooden bridge here, and the ones that when you walk over it, that you can see the water underneath. So I'm just having a little jab at that, and I think the bridge worked out really well. I first built the skeleton of the bridge, the support system and the wooden beams. And then afterwards I put the planks on the top and I just nailed them in. And then, yeah, oh my god, I'm Book the Builder. Crazy times. Here is the snap build of this natural looking bridge. There was still a whole lot of stuff to be done. One of them was putting up some barriers or some, what do you call them, railings on this bridge so that the guests don't fall off. And then also a whole bunch of landscaping. I'm sticking in some rocks here at the moment just to give the bottom of the river a bit of a rougher look. Because it's gonna be quite shallow, you can actually see these rocks at the bottom of the river, and it just makes it look so much more natural in my opinion. Yeah, I quite like the way that was looking. And then I started playing around a little bit with paint, and I really thought this dirt looking ground looks so much nicer. So I removed the rocks again, and then when the water is a bit shallow, it really looks like the bottom of a river. Super cool. And obviously, like, make sure that all the spray painting is done properly and that there's no grass growing on like steeper parts, like here. I then roughened up the edges a little bit with more rocks, sunk them in, and made it look all natural. Now here you can see still that I've got the cobblestone looking pathing in place, and I end up changing it later to a more natural look. But for now I'm just playing around a little bit with railings, and then on the other side of the bridge I extend it, make it come up, and I was gonna have an idea with some waterfalls here, but I later changed it to the book that you've seen in the trailer. I didn't have a storyline at this point yet, but I do now. And as you can see later on, I'll start building the book, and then everything comes together here. I really had no idea what I was doing at this point, so I'm just making it all look fancy, and then later on we can all adjust it. So yeah, let's check out the snap build of this section. Now in my home theme park back in the Netherlands, we have a park called the Efteling. I think most people would have heard of this park. And in there we've got a big forest, it's called the Fairytale Forest. And there's also a shop in this park, and it's got a book, an open book, and there's a castle coming out of it. So I found a photo of this online, I came across it, and that came up with an idea where I could make something very similar and have the book be part of the entrance of the new area. So here I'm just building the book. The red's supposed to be the hard cover of the book, but it doesn't look very great at this point. So I gave the book some hard metal looking edges, and then I just edited it until it was looking much nicer. And the pages are also slightly bent, as you can see, having a bit more realistic. And afterwards, this is kind of what I ended up with. Super happy with the end result. Now that we have the basic shape of the book, I could start working on the little castle that I was going to build inside the book. So the book is open and the castle is on one of the pages, which I think looks really cool. So I'm just trying to build a little tower here, as you can see, and then I just chuck it together, flop it in the book, and I started decorating it a little bit. So I'm definitely just adding doors, adding some more walls, as you can see here, and because it's on an odd angle I'm gonna have to adjust it a little bit and have walls going upwards. I also put down some rocks and stone to make it look like it's actually on earth instead of on a page. And then I also added some windows, and now it's all coming together quite nicely. After that I started building a staircase coming out of the castle, coming down from the book. And there's also obviously some greenery to put down because currently it's not looking very pretty. Now I didn't quite know yet what to do on the other side of the page, so just for now, here is the snap build. And yeah, let's continue on the other side of the page. Now I ended up writing a little something, a little story on this page. Obviously, the book is called the Sprookjesboek, and sprookjes means fairy tale in Dutch, and book, you know, it's fairy tale book, but Sprookjesboek as in Bughuul. Funny. Anyway, it's by Bughuul, and then I'm writing a little story here, as you can see. And if every letter from the first sentence, if you spell it from top to bottom, it spells Bughuul, which I think is just really cool. So yeah, that's kind of what I did in this section, and I'll later show you what I exactly wrote when it's finished. So stick around if you want to see that. Now I'm going back to the pathing. I'm finally putting down the natural pathing, and then I placed the book on top of an arch over some of the pathing. So you enter the new area underneath the book, and then you've got all these like rocks and natural looking stone and things like that. And then I put little arches down on either side so that the water flows through it and then ends up on the other side of the entrance. So I can do something with this water source on the other side as well. Now to make it all come together, I've started building some things, and one of them was a little windmill, which you can see here. I wanted to make it look like a little medieval / fantasy looking landscape. So I'm just surrounding the book with rocks and then blending terrain together. And then I started working on the little staircase from the mill all the way to the bottom where the water is. And then I installed the docks, and then I put the boat, a little boat down as well, so that the person whoever lives in that mill can use the boat to transport themselves. Oh my god, logic. I also created a little sunflower patch here. Now let's go and have a look and see what the end result is. Now if you followed me along in Planet Coaster 1, I used to build, or I have built a park called Middle Earth, which is fully focused on Lord of the Rings, of course. And in that park I have a lot of ginormous trees, which I terraformed. And I thought it would be such a cool idea to have a terraformed tree here as well, because I want to create a landscape that's unlike anything you've seen. And obviously a really big tree will make it really unique as well. And I know exactly how to make that, so yeah, that's kind of it for me. Let's go jump in and check it out in real life. And there we are, after all the building. This is kind of what we're up with, and this is Gardens of Bughuul. If you don't know what this is, check the link in the top right corner, and there's a video there that shows you how this was made. But in this episode we've built the section behind here, if you can see my indicator here. So I'm just gonna drop us down here. I'm just gonna walk straight there. So here, that's the entrance there. You come down through here, and then you end up on this big square. And if you go to the right here, you've got the the clock quarters, which is really cool. Like some food places, and you know, as you can see, people are busy eating, and I don't even know what they're eating. You're eating it the wrong way around. They're eating the paper. Oh my god, stupid. Get some brain cells. I think they need some caffeine, so you can go and get a coffee here from Kona Coffee. You know who you are. So yeah, so if you go straight, so here's the right axis from the teacup ride. So that's obviously the Gardens of Bughuul entrance, fully finished. But if you go straight, we're gonna go and build a new area in this park, as you would have suggested and seen by now. So if you keep going straight, you end up on this side. I would probably decorate this a little bit more, but that's alright. Put some lights down as well. So here we've got the cult coaster come by, And if you go straight here over this natural pathing, which looks really cool, you can see like you got the water is kind of in between the rocks, which is pretty cool. It's not very safe for when you're not as mobile and you have like what are they called, a wheelchair. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit hard, so maybe I have to make a pathing up there that's like a shortcut to go to the entrance there. But I think this is really pretty. I really enjoy, you know, this is really nice. And yeah, so you could just walk across here, and then I've fenced this off a little bit with some natural things. But in the grand scheme of things, when we finish this new area, I can chuck a pathing down here, and then we can just do some more expanding on the other side of this. So this is all a natural pathing. It's all see-through and visible, because you can, if you walk over here, you can actually see the water underneath. So there's no pathing under here. I've got a bit of a windmill up there, and the whole idea is this to be like an introduction to the landscape that you're going to go in. And here we've got that massive tree that you see me sculpt, which is, you know, this is a normal size tree, kind of this sort of size. And then you obviously have a ginormous tree, which is something I used to make, as I would have said by now, in Planet Coaster 1. And then I made one in, Planet Coaster 2. And so here we've got the little, you know, the entrance area. It's very magical. And then you go underneath the book, which is the Sprookjesboek, which literally is like the Dutch word for the fairy tale book. Sprookjesboek. I just call it Sprookjesboek. Get it? And then we have some text under there that says, "Beyond this archway lies the unforgettable land of Bughendell." Bughendell is the name created by the community and all voted. They really wanted to have Bughendell, so it's gotta be Bughendell. And then gaze quietly through the veil. Here, fairy tales are not just in a book. Unlock trails of wonder. Understand the risks of this place and let us enter. And then all the red letters from from the top to the bottom spell Bughuul, which I think was really cool. And here we've got a date. It's a very important date. You don't know what's gonna happen on this date, but this date is very important to me. And then here we have a little, you know, castle poking out of the book, and we've got like, you can see the pages of the book, which is pretty cool. And then here we've got a little scenery. It's all like tiny, like miniature ID. That's kind of what I wanted it to have. The boat's like obviously too small for. Maybe I can animate the boat like that. It's like, you know, wiggling in the thingy a little bit in the water. Alright, let me just quickly go and animate it. I think it will be really cool. I'll be back in a second. Alright, and we're back. And here we are. The boat is moving ever so slightly, as you can see. I didn't want it to move too much, because then it's not too realistic. So yeah, we got a little animated boat, which is cool. And then obviously got a windmill, and let's just go into fly mode. We can show you around a little bit better. Like you can see the book, you can see the roots from the tree coming down. I didn't know what texture to give it, so it looks a little bit like bark now, which I think looks pretty cool. And then here we've got a little windmill with some like sunflower patch, and then some grain, very grainy. Oh my lord! And then like the tree looks really cool from far away. Like if you stand here, you can see the tree in the background, but it doesn't look like a big tree until you get close to it, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I'm super stoked. I was gonna zoom out. So in this episode we built this area here. I just put a ride here to be able to have guests walk along here, so again, you know, it looks a bit more immersive. You know, you've got guests walking around and people using this area. So I'll remove this obviously, but we're gonna build the whole new fantasy area on this side here. It's gonna be probably maybe as big as this. Definitely something as big as that. I've got some really cool reference images which I've chucked on my YouTube on the post section, so keep an eye out on there. I regularly post stuff on on my YouTube channel, even if it's not a video, it's just a post, you know, just to tell people, oh look, Chief Beef is around. Hello, Chief Beef. Oh my god, Book, I'm so tired, and I don't have enough celery, and my tongue is so big, and your life sucks. So yeah, we're gonna continue this kind of theme, and we're gonna go through here, and then obviously behind there is gonna be the magic kingdom of Bughendell. And yeah, if you got any questions, let me know down below. Any suggestions for this area? I can't wait to show you guys the ideas that I have in my brain. And that's pretty much it for me. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.